Marvin, what do you make of all this?
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped that?
Oh, what the fuck's happening? Oh,
man,
shit.
man. Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Why the fuck you do that?
Well, I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
Oh, what an accident. Whoops-a-daisies. Yeah, right. I don't buy that for a second. I think Vincent is a cold-blooded, calculated killer, and he murdered Marvin out of spite. Vincent, you cold. My name's Jack, and today we're going to tear this theory apart. This is Jacked on Films, Pulp Fiction. Okay, before I even begin talking about this theory, I have to bring up another theory that in my mind has been pretty much proven. Marvin is an inside guy working for Vincent and Jules. How do I know this? Well, first of all, we know they have an inside man.
How many up there?
3 or 4.
Let's count our guy.
Here, Vincent is referencing our guy, which is the person working on the inside, helping them to retrieve the briefcase. Also, it makes sense that they would have an inside man feeding them information about Brad and his cronies. How else would they know where to find these guys? Know their names? All that jazz. Someone had to have been giving them tips. I mean, it's Marvin who lets Jules and Vincent into the apartment. Prior to this, they're wandering around outside waiting for the right time.
Time you got?
7:22 in the a.m.
No, ain't quite time yet. Come on, let's hang back.
Personally, I think they had an arrangement with Marvin to open the door at a specific time, and that's how they were able to catch everyone so off guard.
Hey, keep chilling.
And right here, Jules even introduces him.
Is he a friend of yours?
Oh, Vincent, Marvin, Vincent.
Okay, with that cleared up, Marvin is working for Vince and Jules to help them retrieve the briefcase. So if Marvin is working for them, why would Vincent murder him? I think that just because Marvin is working for them doesn't mean he's a full-fledged gangster. In fact, I think he's a rat who turned on his friends. He got in over his head with whatever this briefcase situation is and decided to make a deal with Marsellus or Jules or whoever to give up his friends in order to save himself. And because he's a rat, Vincent despises him. Though that's not the only reason he ends up killing him. Despite being a ruthless gangster, we know that Vincent is a man of principle and character.
Please would be nice.
He confronts life head on and looks down at people below him. The rats of the world, the sneaks and liars and cheaters. People who try to take what isn't rightfully theirs. Like Butch. Butch is a guy who's willing to take a dive in a boxing match. To lose. To tarnish his name. For money. Vince has no problem calling him out.
You looking at something, friend?
He ain't my friend, Palooka.
What's that?
I think you heard me just fine, Punchy.
Or the fool who keyed Vincent's car. He'd much rather have a face-to-face confrontation with him.
Boy, I wish I could have caught him doing it. I'd have given anything to catch that asshole doing it.
Even Ringo. Some lesser criminal isn't worthy in Vince's eyes because he tries to thieve from him and Jules. Men far above his station.
Jules, you give that fucking Nimrod $1,500 and I'll shoot him on general principle.
Hey, Yolanda, he ain't gonna do a goddamn motherfucking thing. Vince, shut the fuck up!
So Marvin is a rat who betrayed his friends. Strike one, Marvin. The next error he makes is doing his job poorly. Being an informant who doesn't inform. Marvin fails to alert the guys to the extra man, the hidden shooter in the bathroom, who comes out with guns blazing and almost kills them. I mean, I understand why Marvin forgot. He's in shock after witnessing 2 of his friends brutally murdered in front of his eyes. But Vince is not very understanding at all. He blames Marvin directly.
Why the fuck didn't you tell us somebody was in the bathroom? Slip your mind? Did you forget that someone was in there with a goddamn hand cannon? So not only is Marvin a rat, he's a terrible rat who almost got Vincent killed. Straight to Marvin! Finally, they're in the car driving back. Vince is already bitter at Marvin and getting more and more frustrated by Jules' insistence on the miracle they just witnessed. Annoyed, irritated,
And still fuming at almost being killed, Vince gives Marvin one final chance to save himself, to weigh in with some common sense in the senseless argument between him and Jules.
Marvin, what do you make of all this?
And what does Marvin do?
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
He doesn't even participate.
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
What a useless waste of space. Strike 3, Vince is done with this kid. He turns around, points his gun right at Marvin's face, and pulls the trigger. There wasn't some bump, nothing like that.
Chill out, man. I told you it was an accident. You went over a bump or
Hey, the
something.
guy ain't hit no motherfucking bump.
And besides, Vince isn't the type of guy who would make stupid mistakes like letting his gun go off because someone ran over a bump. He's experienced. He's professional. Across the film, he makes sensible choices for the most part. Like his date with Mia. He made a wise decision to go home before any shenanigans commenced.
So, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna say goodnight. I've had a very lovely evening. Walk out the door, get in the car, go home.
You can't really blame Vince for what followed. Who could predict some cokehead snorting lines of your heroin and ODing because your dealer ran out of balloons and had to use a baggie?
Out of balloons. Is a baggie alright?
Even Vince's fatal oversight. Slacking off during an easy assignment. I mean, what are the chances the most wanted man in LA would return to his apartment for his father's watch? Ugh, though that one did cost you, Vince. No, when it comes to Marvin, Vince didn't have an accident. He made a firm decision. He decided to kill Marvin. That's just the type of guy Vince is. He's a cigarette-rolling, dance contest-winning, McDonald's in Paris son of a gun. Well, that's episode 2. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay safe out there.
And that's a wrap. First off, I just want to reassure everyone that there will be plenty of future episodes covering the rest of Pulp Fiction and all of Tarantino's filmography. But for next week, please tune in when we go to war, Saving Private Ryan. Until then, later!